we go. What is going on? Cover One Crew. Welcome back to the show. Everybody's doing good as always. I'm always awesome. Not a great Thursday nighter. It wasn't. I mean, the Commanders were definitely stuck in second gear. They lost Austin Eckler. Did not look good, but those Packers look phenomenal. But what are we talking? Boomer bust on week number 2 for all these players we need for start-sit lineup advice. Who's going to boom? Who's going to bust? And who can we trust this week in number 2? Let's talk these running backs. First on the board is an Isaiah Pacheco. He did not look good taking on these Philadelphia Eagles this week. Only 3.8 points in week number 1, coming off a very poor showing versus those Chargers. I mean, the Chiefs, they just could not get their run attack moving, and Pacheco looked like he was running in mud for most of the night. It just did not look good overall taking on these Eagles here in week number 2 in the Super Bowl rematch. Isaiah Pacheco definitely is going to be facing the likes of coming off his, in-game suspension, I guess you want to say, Jalen Carter and company. The Chiefs could legit go 0-2 to start the season, which would be absolutely crazy. We have not seen this in a long time. They definitely got to get their run game going. But, if they don't get Pacheco moving in the right direction, it should be another tough week for him as well. I'm calling a bust for an Isaiah Pacheco 2 weeks in a row. Not good news, no bueno. If he is one of your top running backs on your roster, it's going to be tough sledding for this man. O'Marion Hampton taking on these Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football, 7.1 points in his NFL debut. He looked good. Did not look great, okay? There was a lot of, missed opportunities that an O'Marion Hampton could have had, and he did not capitalize on, man. He is a great rookie running back, and he could make waves this week, man. Coming, like I said, off that uneven showing last week, Hampton was clearly trying his best, but he just could not find near enough room versus that stout KC defense. And now, taking on these Raiders this week, who aren't necessarily the most nimble versus the run. We saw, the plays that were able to be given up versus those New England Patriots versus these Las Vegas Raiders last week. There's a giant opportunity for an O'Marion Hampton to gallop free through this offensive line and, cash in on some good point totals. Like I said, all off season long, I'm so in on this Chargers team in 2025. Herbert is one of the better quarterbacks in this league. He just, stuck in neutral with a bad coaching staff. Now they're going to unleash the pass game like we saw in week number 1. And if Hampton gets going, definitely watch out. I think it's a big week for him. Boom! Coming for this young rookie, man. Travis Etienne, my dude, taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, had a whopping 17.1 points last week. One of the better running back starts last week for all of us, seemingly back from the dead, so to speak. Many in the fantasy community, they definitely wrote off my guy Etienne after, it was a bust campaign in 2024, but so many issues the Jaguars had, man. New season brought, obviously, a new outlook for an Etienne, showed that he is definitely still the guy to be reckoned with, so much so that the Jaguars shipped out his former teammate, Tank Bigsby, to those Philadelphia Eagles for draft pick compensation. So now the backfield does belong to an Etienne, and now this rookie, Bashal Tutin, he should get some play as well. Handpicked running back for this new regime in Jacksonville. He'll definitely get some play eventually, but Etienne is definitely going to get the lead touches, man. If this pass game finally gets going like we know it potentially could under a sunshine Trevor Lawrence, Etienne's going to continue this rushing pace, and it's going to be big-time good news for all our fantasy teams. Boom time for a Travis Etienne. Don't get it twisted. He is still that good, man. David Montgomery taking on the Chicago Bears. Not a good start to the season last week, man. 6.3 points. And it literally felt, this was the mantra I was preaching all off season. It felt like they really, truly felt the loss of a Ben Johnson. I was saying that is the biggest concern. And the best one I can say is how many times, going back in the day when Matt Ryan used to get changeovers at the offensive coordinator spot every single year or every 2 years, it seemed. And it took them a while to get out the gates and get comfortable with their new OC as well. This could be a very similar situation for these Detroit Lions. They could not get much going last week through the air or on the ground. Even though Monty did have a number of, almost break-free moments, it just was not near enough. Nothing overly tangible in point totals to help our team. Definitely busted for us last week. Facing these Bears, again, and they're facing their old offensive coordinator in Ben Johnson. I'll be shocked if the Lions don't go back to the well and they go the full ground and pound with a Gibby and a Monty show, and they got to just keep pounding in bunches, man. I'm talking a bounce back boom for a David Montgomery. Got to come. If they go 0-2, that's going to be a big problem in Detroit, no question. Wide receivers, Ted McMillan taking on these Arizona Cardinals. 9.3 points last week. Not too bad. And while I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan to play a Tet in week one, he did flash that supreme playmaking upside with that crazy highlight reel catch, man. We know what this kid can do. He is so talented. They just got to get this pass game moving. Bryce Young didn't look great either. The run game wasn't necessarily supreme either. But I'm telling you right now, which derailed the overall week for us, was the fact that they just could not get this pass game going. Not too bad overall when it comes to point tallies for his first NFL game, and now facing the Arizona Cardinals. He could be seeing a lot of fellow rookie Will Johnson, who is, proven to be that dude, that shutdown corner. Like I was saying, go check out his scouting report. It's down there in the scouting report playlist as well. Will Johnson is one of these guys, so we'll see if Ted does, get a shadow from a Will Johnson. That could be a little bit of trouble, but either way, I really do like the Panthers trying to build on the process to force feed a T-Mac this week. Kind of, baptism by fire in the NFL. I'm calling a boom for this young rookie as well this week in week number 2, man. Michael Pittman taking on these Denver Broncos. 17 points last week for a Pittman. What I say all offseason long, if Danny Pennies gets the starting job, this offense would move, and that's exactly what they did in week 1. Pittman was the forgotten man in most of our drafts, falling his ADP all the way down the board, becoming this massive steal apparently. Now, 17 points, nothing to sneeze at in week 1, but however, they're taking on these Denver Broncos, and the Colts, they could come back down to earth, and I fully expect that, taking on one of the better defenses in the NFL. Pittman could see a lot of Patrick Surtain, but we will see where he does line up. He could be moving around quite a bit to leave Surtain on one side of the field. It is not good for business if Pittman does see a lot of Surtain. I don't like it. We should see some turnovers from a Danny Pennies this week. I'm calling a bust for this top-flight defense. Boxing a Michael Pittman, no question, man. DK Metcalf taking on the Seattle Seahawks in a revenge game, baby. 10.3 points last week. And someone say revenge game? DK can definitely say revenge game is coming, man. Taking on his former club in the Seattle Seahawks, who dropped their contest to those 49ers last week in ugly fashion late in that contest. Aaron Rodgers and DK, they definitely did more than enough in week 1 to turn my head, at least. I wasn't necessarily the biggest supporter of these Steelers this offseason, but they did put up a lot of points for us. And the dedication to force feed a DK Metcalf with an Aaron Rodgers who still looks good enough to at least play. Lots of points could be on the docket for a DK in a revenge game. Never scoff at the revenge game, because these guys definitely want a ball versus their former teams. Boom for Mr. Cyborg in week number 2. Davante Adams, these Los Angeles Rams taking on the Tennessee Titans. Only 7.1 points for a Davante last week was not great. And he's one of these guys I had giant hopes for this offseason, that as soon as he was with these LA Rams, I thought this was absolutely a match made in heaven, man, showing that he's still got so much left in the tank, that he can play, and playing with somebody like a Matthew Stafford, it should just bring the best out of his game, and it just did not come to fruition in week 1. But I'm saying 7.1 points, not terrible for his first showing, but you got to understand, he was like in neutral last week where they force-fed a Puka Nacua, and facing the Titans here this week, there's great potential for these Rams to unleash this new toy, letting Puka kind of, have the easier show because he was force-fed in week number 1. Give a little bit of love to a Davante, having fewer targets to contend with in week 1, not great. But, if the Rams don't push the ball more to a Davante Adams, I will legit be shocked, and I don't understand what Coach McVay is doing. I'm still calling a boom for this savvy veteran, Davante Adams. Tight ends, Hunter Henry taking on the Miami Dolphins. 8.6 points last week was not terrible showing, but it wasn't great. But at least he got you enough points to be happy and satisfied. The Patriots played a decent game. I'm not going to go and, definitely push this up at any stretch of the imagination. It was definitely under and fell under expectations, no question. Hunter Henry got more than enough volume to be relevant in week number 1, which was good. And facing these Dolphins here in week 2, we know that Hunter's got a very good history versus the Fish. And New England's got so many weapons to choose from. Now a Keyshawn Boutte looking good. Maybe eventually they're going to start getting Diggs involved as well. But Hunter Henry is one of these guys, could be the constant for a Drake May to be that safety blanket. Coach McDaniel for these Fins, he could be on the hot seat because he's lost this locker room. It's definitely clear, which means this should be a tune-up type of contest for these New England Patriots if the Fins do come out, sluggish early on. I'm talking a boom coming for Henry. Drake May and Hunter Henry should have a very good game here in week number 2. Dalton Kincaid, Bills Mafia stand-up, taking on these New York Jets, 12.8 points last week. The Bills, Man, they played one of the best comeback games I've seen in a very long time. What a contest it was on Sunday Night Football. Never giving up, taking advantage of every opportunity. And the positives, man. Dalton Kincaid looked good, man, on both sides of the ball, or both sides of his game, in the pass receiving and the blocking aspect to open up lanes for James Cook. He looked very good, man, being that, multifaceted tight end who can catch and block well. This means that you will not leave the field. Even though they got Dawson Knox, he's going to make a case to remain on the field. This is all positives if he gets his snap counts up that much higher. Allen still spreads the ball around the field. We know this, but at least Dalton Kincaid, he's healthy at the moment, which is good, and he's looking the part. I'm calling back-to-back sound games for a Dalton Kincaid. Boom, baby, and go Bills this week versus New York Jets. Juwan Johnson taking on the San Francisco 49ers. 11.6 points, and many of you are gonna scoff because I always promote my dude Spencer Rattler. Okay, and I get it. He's still my guy. Still got a lot of faith in the man. He's not necessarily a great NFL quarterback, but he did more than enough to win that contest last week. And not everyone is giving him the due credit. He did not look terrible, but I mean there were a lot of drop passes. Juwan had a very good role last week, which is on the positives. And he could have been one of the best tight ends in fantasy football had he caught that last-second touchdown to win the game for these Saints. He dropped it in the end zone. The Saints didn't look great overall. I'm not going to, sugarcoat it. And, I mean, Rattler had his mistakes, but Juwan definitely has what is he like? He's like that sports car in the garage still, waiting to go into fourth gear, and he's been stuck in second his whole career. I like this game a lot for a Juwan Johnson versus these massively injured 49ers all over the field. There could be many more opportunities for Rattler in this offense. Last one we got is a Colston Loveland Chicago Bears taking on these Detroit Lions. 2.2 points last week. And I mean, finally we have another rookie that many had above even my dude in Tyler Warren. I told y'all, pump the brakes. It's not that, Loveland is not a great prospect. It's Caleb Williams, man, in this offense. Until Caleb really figures out how to play NFL football, Loveland's going to be this underutilized, overvalued player in fantasy football, and I mean, 2.2 points is just not going to cut it, man. Anyone who played him last week, definitely curse in the name. Put it right now, man, on the bench. Keep Loveland there until further notice, for better or worse this week especially. I am not touching this whatsoever. Bust for this rookie here in week number 2. But there you have it. That is Boomer Bust for week number 2. Got start sit for you guys on Saturday like always. Drop it in the comments, whatever you got for start sit. I will definitely answer y'all back. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments like I'm saying, and we'll see you next time. I am out.